When we talk about champions and we talk about leaders, we have a special guest today. That is truly a champion. When I say a champion, I can tell you right now he was sitting there saying, hey, I want one of those trophies too. Because no matter how long you're in the business, you always want to compete. And it's a competitive edge that makes the difference. Now, this man has been in our business for over 50 years. That's before most of you were ever being conceived in someone's mind. He's been married for 50 years, so that's why he's been working so hard. He has 5 beautiful children and a beautiful wife named Alice. Those of you who live in the Northeast, upper Northeast, see him on TV regularly and have for years because he's a TV celebrity in the New England area, and he's been on TV for over 40 years. I've known him since I was in my early 20s. And at that time, he inspired me and was a mentor to me. And I say, boy, I want to follow in his footsteps because he was a great promoter. He still is today. I want you to know that he, and I don't know the exact figure, maybe he'll devote to, but he's out each and every week, and he puts in 5 and 6 and 7 days a week, not because he has to, because he's financially secure, but because he wants to. And I'm going to show you a little film clip of this individual, and maybe you'll get a little, some of you might recognize him from the film clip, but he's also the #1 salesperson that's in the world, and he was the first person to ship $5 million. He shipped in excess of $15 million in his career. I don't know the exact number, it was way in excess of $15 million. Let's show a little film clip, and then I'll bring up our new speaker, and I want you to take some notes because he's a definite pro. Let's bring up your friend and mine and a great champion to share his thoughts with you, Chris Nahatis.
Thank you very much, Rick. I'm the son of an immigrant. My parents were born in Greece, and I'm proud to be an American. They say strangers are friends you've never met. At this time, I would like each one of you to stand up, introduce yourself to somebody that you do not know. Would you do that, please? Thank you. Now, we're all friends, and we all know each other. I was very, very impressed with all the awards, and I congratulate all the people that earn their awards, because that's what sales is all about. I started as a kid working for the Manchester meat market at 25 cents a week. I would get paid on Saturday night, and I would go home and give my mother 15 cents, and I would keep the dime. I did that because the dime that I had, I would start writing postcards to every conceivable magazine I could find, an Opportunity Specialties magazine. I sold Simpson clothes. I sold packaged shirts. I sold Red Comet fire extinguishers. I sold any conceivable thing that you could imagine. Until one day, I had an opportunity to work with a Zainal Products company. You've never heard of Zainal because they're out of business. Today, they're American Home Products. This sales kit that I have here this morning is approximately 65 years old. I used to go home, house to house, selling extracts and spices. One of my big sellers was a 9-bar soap, box of soap. This is a real soap, was sold for 69 cents. I started selling because I knew selling was a great profession. I didn't want to work for 25 cents a week. Now I'm going to ask you people, what is the highest paid profession in the world? Wrong. The highest paid profession in the world, my friends, is entertainment. You take some of these entertainments, we'll get $200,000-$300,000 for one evening's performance. But what is the second highest paid profession in the world? Right, sales. What kind of sales? Number one, there's retail sales. You go in a store, you buy a necktie. Do you think that's the highest paid profession in the world? Then you have wholesale. A man will go in the store, say, well, I want a dozen cans of this, dozen. Is that the highest paid profession in the world? No. The highest paid profession in the world, my friends, is direct sales. Why aren't more people in direct sales today? The reason being, they don't know about it. And that is up to you to go out and preach the importance and the success of direct sales. I worked for Cressy Dock, which was a wholesale groceries company when I graduated from high school. On my honeymoon in Florida, I went to a fortune teller, and they told me that I should not be a salesman, I should go in the manufacturing business. So my wife and I spent our honeymoon figuring what kind of a wholesale business I could go into. And we decided the easiest thing that we could make is glass cleaner. You just take a little water, put some glycerin in it, a little color, and you have glass cleaner. But I lost my shirt. I lost thousands of dollars. Until I came home one night from work from Cressy Dock, making $65 a week, and my wife Alice said to me, Greg and Cleo, our next door neighbors, are inviting us over for roast beef dinner on Thursday night. And I said to my wife, some dog in the neighborhood must have died. I've known these people all my life. Why are they inviting us over for roast beef dinner? Well, she says, they're having a demonstration. I said, we're not going to no demonstration. But you know something? Oh, she coaxed me, and we went to the demonstration. The next night, a salesman came to my home. He sold me 3 saucepans for $350. That was a lot of money. But you see, that's the best investment I ever made in my life. Because, see, I have 5 children. My children were small. They wouldn't eat carrots. They wouldn't eat beets. They wouldn't eat spinach. The mother says, please eat, please eat. We start cooking the waterless system. My kids have never had a sick day in their life. I believe in waterless cooking. I believe in cooking without water and without grease. But you see, I still didn't have any money. And I was always 2 months late on my mortgage payment. I purchased my home on the GI series, which was 4% interest. I'd always be 2 months behind. Just before the third one would come up, I'd make the payment. I was really in bad shape. I was in bad shape. And one day, I was down cellar. I was even making bleach water. I put 2 tanks in I had 5 children to support. 3 men came downstairs in my cellar. Said, we're here to foreclose on your house. I said, what do you mean you're going to foreclose on my house? He said, well, the board of directors decided you're always 2 months late, and you're always going to be 3 months, but you're always coming on the nick of time. I says, but I'm not a crook, I'm not a thief. Don't put me under pressure. Well, I'm sorry, I said, but we have to foreclose on your house. I said, how are you going to do that? I said, I'm going to stand on the front porch, I'm going to read the proclamation, and you're going to lose your house. I said, what's going to happen to my 5 children? That's your problem. I said, I'm going to tell you something. Never push a desperate man. I'm not a crook, I'm not a liar. I'm starting a new company. I'm going to start working with a brand new company, and I promise you I'll make my payments. They said, well, we can't do that. We have to have the foreclosure today. I said, I have a 32 automatic in my bedroom. If you read that proclamation, I promise you, each one of you will receive 3 bullets, because I was in the Marine Corps and I'm a sharpshooter. They decided they would give me another chance. Now, I saw this ad in an Opportunity magazine. In some ways, there was an interview in Springfield, Massachusetts on December 6th, on my anniversary. I had $2 in my pocket. I had a broken down Model 39 Plymouth. And I said to my wife, let's go to Springfield. We'll have dinner and celebrate our anniversary. We were out to Springfield, and this man was just cutting up salads all day long, all day long. I said, sir, when are we going to have dinner? He said, help yourself, it's right here. Well, I couldn't join the company at the time because I needed $200. I didn't have $200. But I went home and I saved $200, and I received a sales kit from the other company. Now, I believe homegrown, grow your own. When you hire a person, you're better off hiring a person that never sold anything before in his life, because that way you can teach him your own way. You hire people from other cookware companies and they're going to take all your profit. I just don't recommend it. Grow your own is your best deal. Well, I had my sales kit. I owed the bank. I went 5 weeks without making one single sale. Every night, I'd go out and knock on doors. They'd slam their door in my face, slam their door in my face. I'm trying to develop some kind of an approach, because nobody ever taught me anything. I didn't know what a double boiler was. Finally, I came up with the idea. I'd knock on the door and I'd say, my name is Chris Nahatis. I get $1 for showing you a new product. Have you any objection to me earning $1? They'd say no, so I'd walk in. This went on for 5 weeks. Finally, I'm in Hampton Falls, New Hampshire. I knocked on this door, and the lady said, certainly you can come in. Well, it was the kind of a house you could eat off the floor. Cat food, dog food, mustard, anything all over. I cleared all the bottles off the table. She was feeding the baby. Just then, she wasn't interested, but just then there was a knock on the door. This lady went, oh my God, stainless steel cookware. I always wanted to buy a set. I didn't make no sales talk. I wrote up the order. She says, go across the street and see my son, see my daughter. That night I sold 5 sets of cookware. I stayed up all night wondering, what did I do that was different? There was nothing different. It's just that I talked to the right kind of a person. Thank you, Rick. You know, when the president of a company takes your picture, that's quite an honor. Thank you. You have to have the right kind of training. Do you know how they train an elephant in a circus? They will take that elephant and tie him to a stake. And he'll try and pull and pull and pull to no avail. He'll do that for as long as 2 or 3 months. Finally, they'll take that peg off, and he still thinks he's tied to that peg. And he always behave, and that's how they train an elephant. Do you know how they train fleas at a flea circus? They'll put fleas in a jar. They'll screw the top on, and those fleas would jump until they hit the head. They'd keep jumping until they didn't hit their head. They took the cover off. They thought the cover was still on there, and they just would jump that high. So this is the way you train. You can train your people the way you want them, and they will always be with you. I believe in opportunity. Be your own person. Don't be a conformist. I'll tell you a true story. I was in Burlington, Vermont, training one of my distributors. There was a World's Fair up in Montreal. I says, I think I'll go up and see the World's Fair. I'll be back tonight. My distributor said, what do you mean? He said, it takes 2 or 3 days to see the World's Fair. I said, I'll be back tonight. I drove to the border. I had to leave my samples. and I drove to the World's Fair. I drove up to the gate, and the man said, "Sorry, sir, you can't come this way, you have to go to the parking spot." I called him, I says, "I have the payroll." They opened the gate, and I drove in. Now, this is the first time that the Russians are in North America. This is the very first time. Now, believe me when I tell you there was a line in the entrance 1.5 miles, 2 miles long. I said, I got to be back to make some sales tonight. So I went to the exit. There are 2 Russian soldiers there. They'll tell me I cannot come this way. I happen to be of Greek descent, and I start talking Greek to them. They kept telling me I can't come this way. I kept talking Greek to them. They waved me in. I saw the complete Russian pavilion inside of 45 minutes an hour. I saw all I wanted. Now I went to the American pavilion. Again, a line 1 mile long. I went to the exit. There are 2 Marines there. "Sorry, sir, you can't come this way." I started talking Greek to them. They kept telling me I cannot come this way. And I still kept talking Greek to them. Finally, one Marine says to the other, "Let the SOB go through, he doesn't understand English." I saw the American Pavilion. I was back in Montreal that evening. Dare to be different. Don't be a conformist. If you have an idea, work your idea. If it fails the first time, try it again. How do you think Thomas Edison ever invented electricity? Henry Ford, the Ford assembly line. These people had vision, but above all, they had imagination. Imagination is God's greatest gift to a human being. Imagine yourself successful. Imagine yourself up on the stage next year. Imagine things that you really want. And if you can imagine them, you can picture them, and that's how reality comes in. Don't be a dreamer, but use your imagination to make things come true. And I've been a great one for that. I always ask my wife, Alice, feminine viewpoint on important decisions. You see, a woman has 6 senses. We only have 5. Always ask your wife her opinion. You don't have to do what she tells you, but get her opinion. Because believe me, women today are very, very intelligent people. This particular man was in Las Vegas, Nevada. He had to go to the first of all, he was a very successful man addressing a convention such as this. He was telling a success story. One little hand went up in the back and says, "Could you tell us how you got started?" He said, "I'll be glad to tell you how I got started. I was in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was broke. I had to go to the bathroom. In those days, you had to put 10 cents in the slot to open the door to go to the bathroom. He didn't have 10 cents. He kept waiting and waiting. Finally, he says, "Sir, could I have a dime, please? I got to go to the bathroom bad." The fellow gave him a dime, and as he was about to put the dime in the slot, the door opened. So he went in, didn't have to pay the dime. Now he had 10 cents in his pocket. He went upstairs, and he played the one-armed bandits. He won about $5 or $6. He bought some shoelaces and some shoe shine polish and started making his money. He became very, very successful, a multi-millionaire. You probably heard him today, Ray Kroc from McDonald's. People said to him, did you ever stop and think about the man who gave you that dime? No, he says, I never gave that man a thought. Many nights I've stayed up to wonder, who was the man that opened the door? And so today, Rick Capadonna has opened the door to each and every one of you. You know, fellas, you know who buys our cookware? Is the men. Men buy cookware. To give an example, I was in Melrose, Massachusetts, and this lady wanted to buy a set of cookware. Her husband wouldn't let her. No, we can't afford it right now. But I want the cookware. Well, he says, if you want it, go ahead and buy it. So she gave me the order, and she gave me a deposit. Now, I usually say to a couple, now would you please kiss your wife? because you got something nice investment. So Chris says, he hasn't kissed me in 20 years. You mean to tell me you haven't kissed your wife in 20 years? He says, no, I haven't. I said, if you don't kiss your wife right now, I'm going to tear this order up. So he turned around and he kissed his wife. And I said to him, you remind me of the fella that didn't kiss his wife in 20 years and shot the first guy who did. Now here's a very powerful close for you. I was in Berlin, New Hampshire. This lady wanted to set a cookware so bad, but her husband would let her. He says, no, I need some snow tires. But honey, I want a good set of cookware. Well, I says, I don't want you to buy them. He says, I'm going to use my own money. He says, no, you're not buying that damn cookware. And she said to him, I'm going to say no to you for 6 months. He bought the cookware. How many people here today would like to have $3,000 in their savings account when they go home, whether it's tomorrow or Monday? Raise your hands. How many people would like to have $3,000 in their savings account when they get home? You see, in our business, unless you have money of some security, you can be a bum. Unfortunately, in this society, you can be the nicest guy in the world with no money, and people don't look up at you. You can have a lot of money and be a tough guy. People say, oh, what a wonderful person he is. I couldn't save any money. Didn't know how to save any money. Because you see, there's never any left to save. So who do you pay first? You pay yourself first. I went to Mr. Harry Cann, our treasurer, bank person. I said, Mr. Cann, I want to borrow $3,000. He said, what do you want the $3,000 for? I said, well, I can't save any money, but I can pay my bills. I'm a good bill payer. What are you going to do with the well, I'm going to put it back in the savings account. He starts scratching his head. Now, wait a minute. You mean to tell me I'm going to loan you $3,000, you're going to give it back to me, and I'm putting it in a savings account, and you're going to make the payments, and when the payments are all made, I'm going to give you the savings account bank book. I says, yes. That's a great savings plan. Now, if you do that, fellas, here's what's going to happen. It's only human attitude. When you get $3,000 in the bank, you have to make it 5. When you make it 5, you have to make it 10. And when you make it 10, you have to make it 20. Now, back when I started saving money, I don't save money anymore. When I start saving money, the most money that you could put in a bank is $20,000. I ran out of banks that would take $20,000. The point I had to go out of state to find banks that would take my money. I walked into this bank, and I said to the lady, excuse me, I'd like to start a savings account. And they said, well, how much would you like to start with? I said, well, how much do you usually start with? Oh, you can start with $10 or $15 or $100. I said, I'd like to start with $20,000. How much? I said, $20,000. Just a minute. Now the bank president comes out, he takes me in his office. I said, sir, I'm double parked. I can't wait too much, so I just want to get a bank book. Keep going. So people will love you if you have money. And the only way you're going to make money is through your own efforts and the opportunity that Rick Capadonna gives you. I've been real honored to be able to come here today and talk to this wonderful group. Rick, I'm very, very proud of you. I'm proud of your organization. And let's say, God bless America. God bless Rick Capadonna. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Can you see why he was my mentor? A wise man.